The other victims of Prince Andrew's scandals, how his and Fergie's downfall brought humiliation to their daughters. Welcome back, royal watchers, to Crown Chronicles, your royal gateway to truth, drama, and secrets behind the palace gates. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell, because today's story dives into one of the most emotional, tragic, and quietly devastating sagas within the British royal family. This isn't just about Prince Andrew, the man once hailed as a war hero, the Queen's favorite son, and a central figure in royal life. This is about the collateral damage left behind, his daughters, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, who have paid the heavy price of their parents' downfall. The world knows the scandals, the disgrace, the headlines. But few understand the emotional toll this royal storm has taken on two women who, through no fault of their own, have watched their family name dragged through the mud, their father ostracized, and their mother ridiculed, all under the cruel spotlight of global scrutiny. Let's rewind to where it all began. When Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie were born in the late 1980s, they were symbols of hope, the next generation of royals who would bridge tradition and modernity. Their parents, Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson, the Duke and Duchess of York, were seen as the fun royals. Fergie was vivacious and warm, Andrew charming and confident. For a brief, shining moment, the York family seemed to embody a new kind of monarchy, one less rigid, more relatable, and full of heart. But royal fairy tales, as history has taught us, rarely last. By 1992, the Duke and Duchess's marriage had collapsed. Scandal hit like a bombshell when intimate photos of Sarah Ferguson with her financial advisor were splashed across tabloids. The Queen was horrified. The country mocked. And Beatrice and Eugenie, still just little girls, were suddenly caught in the middle of a royal firestorm. Though their parents divorced in 1996, they remained unusually close, even continuing to live together for decades at Royal Lodge. On the surface, it looked like an amicable, modern arrangement. But beneath the smiles and laughter, there were growing cracks that would one day shatter everything. Fast forward to 2019, the year that would redefine Prince Andrew's life forever, the infamous Newsnight interview. The Epstein connection. The allegations. The shocking lack of remorse. That disastrous phrase, "I don't sweat." It was the moment that turned a royal embarrassment into a global scandal. Overnight, Prince Andrew went from a once-respected figure to the most disgraced member of the British monarchy in modern history. And while the world laughed, criticized, and condemned, Beatrice and Eugenie's hearts broke. Imagine, for a moment, what it means to be a princess, born into privilege, but also bound by public perception. Every move, every friend, every word is analyzed. Now imagine your father being accused of one of the most horrific scandals in royal memory, and your mother constantly reliving her own past humiliations in the press. Beatrice and Eugenie didn't just lose their father's royal status, they lost their reputation by association. Overnight, the princesses became untouchable in elite social circles. Invitations dwindled. Public appearances were quietly cancelled. When Beatrice announced her engagement to Edoardo Mapelli Mazzi in 2019, the excitement was overshadowed by her father's scandal. The press questioned whether Andrew would even walk her down the aisle. When she eventually married in 2020, it was in a private, low-key ceremony at Windsor, stripped of the grandeur a royal wedding would normally command. For Eugenie, the impact was equally devastating. Her 2018 wedding to Jack Brooksbank had been a joyous moment, colorful, emotional, and filled with royal charm. But barely a year later, the glow had faded. Reporters began revisiting her father's controversies, attaching her name to every headline. Both sisters have tried desperately to carve independent lives, Eugenie working with art foundations and charities, Beatrice pursuing business ventures and advocating for dyslexia awareness. But no matter what they do, the shadow of Prince Andrew's downfall looms large, and let's not forget their mother. Sarah Ferguson's long, winding history with scandal has only compounded the problem. Though she's had moments of redemption, returning to royal events, publishing books, even appearing on talk shows, her financial troubles and controversial statements often drag the York name right back into the spotlight. Now, in 2025, the family stands at a crossroads. with the death of Queen Elizabeth II, their greatest protector is gone. King Charles III, determined to modernize and streamline the monarchy, has shown little inclination to include Andrew, Sarah, or their daughters in the firm. Behind palace walls, there's reportedly a quiet effort to distance the working royals, like William, Kate, and the Wales children, from the Yorks altogether. For Beatrice and Eugenie, that means fewer invitations, fewer engagements, and fewer chances to rehabilitate the family image. Even though they've done nothing wrong, their family name remains tainted, a painful reminder that in royalty, guilt by association can last a lifetime. Those close to them describe the sisters as devoted daughters, deeply loyal to both parents, even as they struggle with the consequences of that loyalty. Friends say that Eugenie often breaks down privately, torn between her public image and her private heartbreak. Beatrice, ever the peacemaker, has reportedly taken on the role of emotional anchor for the family, the calm in the storm, but even as they try to build quiet, respectable lives, the world won't let them forget. Every time a new royal scandal erupts, every time Andrew's name resurfaces, it's their faces that reappear on the front pages, not as individuals, but as the daughters of the disgraced Duke. And yet, there's something deeply admirable about Beatrice and Eugenie. Despite everything, they have refused to abandon their father. When the world turned its back on him, they stood by his side, attending family events, visiting him at Royal Lodge, and ensuring he wasn't completely alone. It's a loyalty that mirrors their mother's, fierce, unconditional, and rooted in love, even when that love brings pain. Still, the question remains, can the York daughters ever truly escape their parents' shadows, as the royal family continues to evolve under King Charles and, one day, Prince William? It seems increasingly unlikely that Beatrice or Eugenie will ever return to full-time royal duties. Their roles have quietly shrunk, their public appearances more personal than official. They're caught in a royal limbo, too royal to be ordinary, too tainted to be trusted, but maybe, just maybe, that's where their strength lies, because while scandal has shaped their lives, it hasn't defined their spirits. Both women continue to work, raise their young families, and live with grace and quiet resilience. In a monarchy built on image and illusion, Beatrice and Eugenie represent something rare: honesty, vulnerability, and heart. They are, in many ways, the forgotten victims of a royal saga that has consumed their family. As one royal insider once put it, the real tragedy of Prince Andrew's downfall isn't his lost titles, it's the pain it's caused his daughters. And perhaps that's the cruelest truth of all. Thank you for watching Crown Chronicles. If you were moved by this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the truth behind the royal headlines. Crown, because here at Crown Chronicles, we tell the stories the palace doesn't want you to hear, and in the royal world, the truth is always stranger than fiction.